Hello, my beautiful soul family. I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. I apologize for the video yesterday that it stopped. I didn't keep an eye on it. And anyway, so I thought today I would just go back and, continue what we were talking about. I took some notes. This way I can keep track of what I'm saying, because sometimes I get a little bit over myself and I want to, there's so much I want to say and share with you that I'm kind of like a kid. Yeah, I get excited about things, and I when you, this is what I compare myself to, nature. I compare myself with nature all the time because I try to emulate her. She teaches me, and when the ocean is still and nothing moves, and there's wind and the waves don't move, nothing's moving, but the water just quietly just kind of ripples over the sand just a little bit at a time, slowly. And then when the waves come, when the wind is going really fast, and it just comes and comes crashing in. And that's how sometimes I am too, because you catch the momentum, and you just want to get there and like give you all the information at once. And I've noticed that I have skipped some things that I didn't finish telling you. So I apologize for that. That's why I'm back in here again. So the video yesterday, I called it Removing the Veil of Illusion. And today is the 1st of March, you guys. I really feel that this year is just flying by. We are already in March. Before we know it, it'll be like, well, I'll be quiet. I don't want to say that. No, not yet. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for fall yet. No. So anyway, I do apologize for that. And I didn't want to edit the video again, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to start a new one today, because it is the 1st of the month. So, and I normally do it every Saturday or Friday if I can. So I'm going to continue. So I'm continuing where I stopped yesterday, and I'll just go back to where I was mentioning me having been upset with God. And you guys, haven't had the time to find the little rock, but I'll get to that. I had not received an answer to a prayer that I've been giving him. So I was on this hike up in the mountain, and as I continued asking God to help me, please to help me so that it could relieve the sadness I had, and or give me something, like, because since I was little, I have always asked God pretty much for everything. I'm the type of a person that I have this relationship with him that I trust him, and I can tell him anything and everything. So this is why I was talking to him this way. Not disrespectful or anything like that, but there's a certain language that I have with him that I know that I'm not being disrespectful. I have, at times I have been upset and I've yelled at him, but I know he understands me. So as I was walking up this hill by the mountain, I tripped, and I saved my fall by using my right hand. And luckily there was a lot of grasses, like little bushes and grasses all around, so it broke my fall. When I realized I was down on the ground, a song popped into my mind, and I swear to you guys, I heard it as loud, like in a radio, the radio was turned on. The song from Bob McFerrin, or as Bob or Bobby, "Don't Worry, Be Happy." And I'm sure you've heard it. So God, of course, like he always comes through for me. He chose to send me this little song to remind me to rethink that don't worry, be happy type of an attitude. And it's a call to let go of worries and to embrace your joy for life and contentment and gratitude. And also reminded me of a scripture that's in Matthew in the Bible. Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Okay, to my surprise, when I was on the ground, on my right hand was a stone. I picked it up, and to my surprise, it was oval shaped with a smiley face. And it reminded me of one of the covers for Kurt Cobain on his album called, I think it was Nevermind. The song, the entirety of the song was playing out loud in my mind. And I know this is going to sound insane, but it was as well as my external surroundings. So this song, don't worry, be happy. And I was baffled, and at the same time, it took me, you know, God, He moves me. Oh, and guess what? I just found her. I just found her. God is very, what's the word? He doesn't do this all the time with me, and but when I am talking to him and I'm asking for help, and he'll either send me a song, and I was climbing up the mountain, and so here, I don't know if you can see her. This is the rock that he gave me, and when I landed on my hand to save the fall, the rock was like this on my right hand. And on the back I wrote, see if I can still read it. It's in the year 2004. It was May the 22nd, 2004. And you see there's two little eyes and their smiley face and a little cracked smile like in the Kurt Cobain. I'll show it to you in a minute, okay? Before I'm done. And I looked at it, and the song was playing. Don't worry, be happy. And so, of course, it changed my whole outlook and my attitude, and I was grateful. And I started crying because he touches me and he treats me. God knows me better than anyone else. And and I think all of us, are childlike, and we hide ourselves in suits and stoic, demeanors and seriousness. When you take that off of you, there's a child inside of you. There's not a serious person, but we live in a world where we don't show our real faces, our real selves, and people are afraid to get hurt, and I understand. I myself have gotten hurt, and this is why I am the way I am, and I protect my energy. I'm like, when I've learned to love myself, I'm precious to me, and I will not allow anyone to hurt me no more, ever. I treat others the way I want to be treated, but sometimes it doesn't happen that way. And when that happens, then you just walk away a little further away so you don't get hurt anymore. But I give myself respect because no one else is going to give it to me. Because everybody has their own mind and everybody lives how they want to live. And anyway, back to, I want to continue to tell you what happened here. And then I was telling you guys, well, this is my little smiley face from the Father, from my God. I'll put her right there. I'll show you later. Then I was telling you guys about having this experience where I've had many out of body experiences in my life. And I won't say tons, but as a child, I believe I had many, but I didn't know that it was that. It was a normal thing for me. I couldn't wait to go to bed, to go to sleep, because I went with my father. I climbed on my lion and I took off to other galaxies. And my world was magical. I I would catch birds. You know, we had like a shoebox, and I would make a hole and tie a thread or yarn, and I would put breadcrumbs in the ground, and I would lay there sometimes for hours. And I only like I would talk to the ants and talk to the plants, and I just lived in this world. And then the bird would come and eat some of the crumbs, and I got him, and I was so happy. Those were like the happiest moments, not for the bird, but I just overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed with him, with the little birds, and I would just love them and give them kisses. And I was little. I kind of force fed them some of them, but I let them go, of course. And then finally, I got them to trust me, and I would pet them, and a couple of them stayed in my hand, and I cupped my hand like this, and they would stay. And as I caressed them and I would talk to them, and they were just so lovely, and then they would leave, so I considered them my friends. And I always thought that God would take form in the little birds and butterflies, and anyway, that was my world when I was little. And I was telling you right before that the video ended, I was telling you about a meditation that I had that I was doing, and I saw myself above my bed, and yet I was looking at myself, and I was inside the Star of David. If you know, like what a star looks like, right? Like, like a star, very, intricate, but a star nevertheless. And it had, I want to say, it was kind of like a car, the size of a car, but within this room in my bedroom. And then it was it was very beautiful. It was made out of energy. The star was made out of energy, and it was made out of all different colors. And some of them I cannot explain to you because I've never seen those colors before. And I noticed as if the lines that made the star were like thin tubes, like imagine very fine tubes that would interact with each other, like going in like this, interacting, creating the form of the star. And I was in the center of the star, and I was rotating. And I was rotating in a very fast mode, like, when the little kids, they play Ring Around the Rosies, but faster than that. So there was a sound like the motor of a jet plane taking off. And then I realized that when I saw me laying on the bed, I was sitting upright and I was meditating. And then when I realized this, I made a fist inside the star. I realized, oh no, 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 no. I didn't want to go back to this body because I was aware that that was my body. And I did like this. And when I did that, I was back again in my body. And then when I saw myself, and then when I had the clarity that I had to return to my body, and I was aware of this, I didn't have fear, but I had a very like the disgust feeling, like I didn't want to come back. I didn't want to come back into this body. And I was very upset. So when I regained consciousness, I broke down crying. And I was depressed for at least a month. I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody because I knew my true self. My true self was the one that was free. And when I went back to my body, I wanted to know what this was because I wasn't sure. I had never experienced it like that, and this like like a star. And I did research, and I found that I had experienced the Merkaba. This is a Hebrew word, Merkaba. It is a part of a sacred geometry. Um, it's part of sacred geometry, and this word means to ride or to be carried, kind of like a car. Like you would. This is what I thought afterwards. I thought, well, I guess I'm an ET, an extraterrestrial of sorts, and this is my traveling, my car. That's what I thought. The Merkaba is seen as a vehicle that allows consciousness to travel through the dimensional realities. I understand and know, it's an innate feeling in me of like a knowing within me, and I knew this is activated within me, and it allows me to take my spiritual body, my consciousness, through stargates in other dimensions. So it was it was back into the illusion, into this matrix, this Maya, as the ancient Vedas from India described this state. And now I understood, at the time I understood why it was so difficult for me, um, to fit in this world. I always felt like a, what do they call it? Um, in a chicken hen, a pig in a chicken's hen. I always felt like the weird one. I always felt like the one that, like the black sheep. I had never felt like I belonged, really, like pretty much nowhere. At times, this journey has been daunting for me. So, in the beginning, when I had difficulty dealing with these things at times, abrupt changes in me, and I have felt so alone. And at times, for it was shown to me in a dream that I would walk a path that was very narrow, yet I know I'm not alone, nor I feel lonely, and I'm beyond grateful for this, to my Maker, for always walking with me. And this is why I began doing research on the energetic anatomy of the human being, of us humans. And I have to say that I've always been fascinated by the Orient and all the teachings and wisdom, the ancient wisdom from the Orient, the Eastern countries, and like China. They have deep ancient knowledge that has only been out here in the West from around, I want to say, the 60s, or the so called hippie area. Yoga was brought by Indian gurus, and the word meditation and its techniques like transcendental meditation practices. Yes, we're spiritual beings. Oh, I have to tell you, it became more known because of the Beatles, because the Beatles, they went there to the ashrams in India, and they were practicing back in the 60s. They learned meditation and they brought it with them, over to England, and then it started dissipating to the different places. Well, yes, we are spiritual beings experiencing a human life. And when I began discovering that we have, or should I say, we are several bodies, most people are only aware of their physical body, which is part of this dimension. Then there is the body which carries the emotions, and this is the mental body. Then there is the astral body, which carries our thoughts, belief systems, and we have the energetic body, which holds itself in the dimension of dreams. Then we have the soul, which here is our outmost divine self in the spiritual dimensions. Now, according to the yogic philosophy, we humans have three bodies: the physical, the astral, and the spiritual body, which we know as the soul. As you can see, we are more than physical. We have emotions, mental, and spiritual bodies. These bodies are kind of lanterns of light. This is how I see it, that aid us in our earthly evolution and work for us to guide us through this life. Now, I think regardless of whether we're conscious or unconscious, these bodies guide us. But from my discoveries, it's more wonderful when you are when your consciousness is more open, because then you can kind of I won't say control, but then you are you're the owner of your thought. You're the queen of your castle, the king or the queen of your castle. Therefore, you direct and say, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. You order yourself. And oh, I'm telling you, this these discoveries, is a continual thing, like an everyday thing for me. Our physical body consists of a brain, skin, hold on, organs, and everything else between our ears. Our mental body encompasses the entire realm of the mind. The spiritual body carries the person's consciousness or soul. The emotional body is a person's emotional intelligence, their ability to understand, to feel, to discern, their intuition, and to know how to connect with themselves and others. I am fascinated on the study of both human spiritual bodies, for we need to learn what we are made of and what our organs manifest for us. As I said before, I am awed by this life and the different practices of healing, especially for me from the Orient and also South America. Chinese spirituality has existed for millennia. They understand that all is energy and that energy flows through all living matter. They practice the practice of energy, movement, and healing, their ancient findings on meridians. And I'll tell you how I found out about the meridians. The meridians are pathways for vital energy or chi. Meridians are similar to circulatory system, like energy flowing through them, or in a similar way to oxygen or blood. I experienced once acupuncture for I was suffering from migraines a long time ago, many years ago, and the therapist explained that the meridians were marked with sorts of points called acupoints, which are the target during the acupuncture treatment. So this system of meridians is thought to be interconnected with the meridians interacting with each other. By the way, I only needed one treatment of acupuncture and I was relieved and healed from migraines that I had for years. Now it's been, I can tell you, have I had any this year? I almost never get migraines anymore. If I have a mild headache, maybe because I haven't gotten enough water, or maybe I didn't get enough sleep, but migraines are like unheard of for me. Um, so I have to tell you that after the years that I have suffered from this, so for me, this is why I try to use alternative healing methods of non-mainstream practices. For I want to delve more into the ancient practices of medicine, where we find the cause versus just send you home with a painkiller. Also, I am an advocate for the healing arts. I have many dreams that show me there's more, so much more behind the healing art sciences. And I also believe with all of my heart that our Pachamama, our Mother Earth, has provided us with a myriad of natural healing herbs. And I love to indicate further into the earth's healing ancient techniques of my ancestors. Now, I want to tell you, when I found out about the chakra systems, I had first a dream years ago where I saw myself walking and I had these spinning wheels of energy in the front of me. And I asked, why do I know that this is part of me? I knew that these wheels or chakra systems are spiritual energy centers, and knew that they had everything to do with my human evolution and experience, and they affect both my physical self and my spiritual self and my emotional well-being. I saw 7 of these energy centers, but somehow knew we have more in some extent outside of your body, like way out here in this area right here. The 7 main chakras are one, I'm sure that many of you know, is called the root chakra, and this is located at your base spine, and this represents grounding and stability. In Hindu, it's called the Muladhara. Now, the second, the sacral chakra is situated. Well, it's in Hindu, it's called Svadhisthana. Svadhisthana, situated in the lower abdomen, and is associated with both sexuality and creativity. The number three is the solar plexus, the Manipura. This is found near your navel, around your belly button there, related to personal power and self esteem. Number four, heart chakra, is Amahata, located at the heart center, symbolizing love and compassion. And then number five, throat chakra, and this is called the Vishuddha, is situated in your throat, connected to communication and self expression. Number six is your third eye chakra, your Ajna, between the eyebrows, representing the intuition and inner vision. Number seven is your crown chakra, and Sahasrara is at the top of the head, signifying spiritual connection and enlightenment. It was told in my dream to maintain my energy centers moving, never stagnant. I needed to do everything possible and was solely responsible myself for their function within me. To maintain myself in a high vibration, this is why it is so important to be and feel gratitude for all we experience, even the bittersweet, for there is wisdom and lessons in all we experience. I am fascinated with sacred geometry and its shapes, and I'm studying right now. When I have time, I make time to study. When my patient is taking a nap or right before I go to sleep, I try to read a little bit because it's hard during the day because I have other things to do. So I am trying to study and trying to maintain these new, well, try to open my mind more and I have a better understanding of how these things they work. Sacred geometry, I've always been fascinated by shapes because I love architecture since I was little. And I saw pictures of India and I saw places like the Taj Mahal. I saw the Wall of China and pictures, and in school I would see these beautiful buildings, and I've always wanted to visit them. And then in nature I would ask myself, how can this be shaped this way? Why does this have this shape? Sometimes I found rocks that have the shape of a heart, and nature has fascinated me. So, like I've told you, I am fascinated by the shapes of sacred geometry and all the spiritual significance of shapes. And do you know why it fascinates me? It is due to Mother Nature. Have you observed her really? Really observed her? For example, the many patterns and shapes found within her, like the perfection of shapes within flowers, their colors, the spiral seashells, how they go in like inward like that, a honeycomb and its intricacies, the structure of a beehive. And when I showed you the yellow rose the other day, how her petals are arranged perfectly going within herself, as if directing one thought to the profoundness of her and ourselves. I feel that the interconnectedness, hold on, interconnectedness of this universe, there's definitely a fundamental order, a higher wisdom overseeing all of this magnificence. I see these beautiful patterns in nature as a language of the universe, reflecting a divine and a universal design. And you know what else? Everything is in mathematical forms, order, and geometric principles. Have you ever noticed the roundness of things? This fascinates me, what I'm going to tell you now. I saw this one program. It was a uh, I can't remember which channel it was, but it was a documentary on a little fish. This little fish that got my full attention when I saw this documentary on puffer fish. He's called a puffer fish. The male literally creates by shoveling sand, you know, and you would think with a shovel, of course he doesn't have a shovel, but with his little tail and the way he moved, he would create these intricate circles that are absolutely mesmerizing. They even go out to decorate these circles with shells, you guys, with shells. This art form can take them several days, and the little pufferfish works around the clock until his work of art is pleasing to his eyes. What a lucky ladyfish to have such a noble, caring, innovative little male suitor to provide the best nesting ground for her. I adore nature, and I am so grateful for her. I'm listening to classical music today. I needed to calm myself down, and classical music always does it for me. And I just have to tell you that I am very, very grateful for this life. I am very grateful for all the things I am experiencing. And I have to tell you, and I cannot stress enough to you, to go within. Go within. Prioritize your time and create time for yourself to go within. If you start like baby steps, go for a walk in nature. Now the weather's getting nicer. It's the spring is soon coming, and go for nature walks. Appreciate the beauty of nature, how she's waking up, and awaken yourselves. Awaken yourselves to the beauty of life, because I'm telling you, what you give time to, what you put your mind in, that's where you're going to be. That's where you're going to experience. And I always think, why not look after beautiful things? And like, for example, when the sun is not shining and it's a great day, and many people, oh, it's a sucky day today. Not for me. Behind the clouds, the sun is there. And think about this. This is how I used to see it when I was little. Oh, the sun is taking a break, because he has to shine 24/7. So I thought, oh, he's hiding behind the clouds, just taking a little nap. That's how I used to see it. I know, and I think a lot like a child, because I connect with children. I'm an adult, and yet I'm not very adulty, because I think adults are too serious. And people go in their cages, because people have cages. And when I watched the movie The Matrix, I will never forget, the idea of that movie. That movie began my awakening. I was fascinated of all the questions that came to me. I remember when the little boy was telling Neo that the spoon, there's no spoon, and it makes me think of that Bruce Lee. I love the writings of Bruce Lee and the teachings that he had. He was a very wise man about to be like water, become water. And I read the book many years ago, The Alchemist, and I remember one day when I was in the mountain, I said to myself, well, I want to disappear. I don't know if I did, but I was trying to. I was thinking, I can become part of the elements and become the wind. And it doesn't. I'm experiencing so many magical things that I cannot like voice them right now, because you people, my soul family, I don't know how many of you can connect with what I'm saying. If you guys have had like spiritual experiences, and it doesn't matter what religions that you guys have, if you have a religion, because we're spiritual beings having spiritual experiences in this external 3D dimension. This is just a dimension. This is just a moment. It's a moment for us to be here and to learn about what we're made of, so that you can empower yourselves and become advocates of your own selves. Take your lives and make them into a beautiful song, a beautiful poem. Make a mark in this world. Do something for mankind. Like I've said before, I'm a high idealist. I believe that we are intelligent beings and we're even greater than we can even fathom. We have dreams, and these dreams, when this elderly gentleman handed me these rings of the dream I had had the night before. When I heard the word dream in my dream, she vibrated. The word vibrated. There's vibration. Because why? We are vibrational beings, because we are energetic beings. We are therefore energy. Everything that we touch, this giant crystal, this big crystal, it looks firm, it looks heavy, feels heavy, but it's just illusion. And I think, oh, the lady, she really is nuts. Yeah, I am really nuts, but I gotta tell you, once you start discovering your nuttiness, there's no going back, because you start awakening. And this little rock here with a smiley face like Kurt Cobain's thing, his little smiley face from his album. God told me, and I heard the song, why worry? Be happy. Be in this moment. Be in this moment and savor life. Eat something that you love for the first time. The next time you eat something, like your favorite thing, be conscious about it. When you become conscious, it's like something takes over you, and then you experience that a million times fold of joy. When you give someone a kiss, look at them in the eye. When you hold someone, make them feel you. Do things with love. Do things with affection, with a purpose, with intention. I'm telling you, I am learning. The universe is teaching me to savor, to relish, to find the deliciousness in life. It's even in the air. It's in music. It's in people. It's in food. It's in animals. It's in the air. The elderly people, they have lived long lives, are sitting in homes that nobody visits. Find time and go visit them. If you know an elderly lady that no one visits and no one sees her, make her a cup of soup. Make her a little bowl of soup and take to her with some flowers from your garden. Things don't have to cost money to be special. And when you love yourself, you love others in a different way. I can't say I have not experienced love, because I have. I'll never forget that young man that came to me and he cried. He was a total stranger and cried and told me I would give my life right now. I would trade my life, my physical life, so that you can have your happiness can be given back to you. A total stranger. He wasn't a stranger, he was an angel. I know things can change, and things are changing for me. My life is changing, is making a 360 degree. I see it. I am no longer the same person I was yesterday. It's like every day there's an evolution. And I know that I am ascending to a higher consciousness, and I want the same for you guys. I want you guys to experience your experience of life with gusto and in color. Experience life in color. Um, don't give up on yourselves. Um, find the best in you. Excuse me, let me. I know I tend to get emotional, but it's because there's so much inside of me that at times I don't know. I can't hold myself back. This is who I am. I feel. I feel. I had a little bird one time that he fell off the nest. I picked him from the ground. I called him Jamie, and he became my little pet, and he didn't want to fly away from me. He ate spaghetti without spaghetti sauce. I know, I didn't know. I was a young girl at the time. And when I made scrambled eggs, he would eat toast and he would eat scrambled eggs, and I would also find worms in the yard, until one day I opened up the door and I told him, there's your family, and there was a group of sparrows, and told him to go so that he could be himself again. And he left, and I remember crying. We all cried. And then when I lived in Europe, there was another little friend that we also called him Jamie because of my little Jamie bird. And he was what is that bird called? They're kind of bluish and white, and mostly dark. No, not white. Um, they're very. You can train them. Anyway, this little bird became part of our lives, and we built this big, huge, like almost a whole wall of a fence for him within a little cage, a huge cage. He could fly around, and he would be in the house, and then he would be in the cage, and he would fly around. And one day, something happened, and he flew away. We were all crying because he was like our pet. And then weeks passed. I left the cage open, and I put fresh water every day. And one day, I went out to the garden and saw he was sitting. He was perched, not sitting. He was perched on a branch inside the cage, and his eyes were like this. He was so tired. He was so tired. So I took him and I told him, "Oh, my love, you're home. You're home." So I put him close here, and I sat with him. My kids were in school. They were so happy when they got home. I placed him here on my breast, and then I caressed him, and he fell asleep on me. I tell you. And then when this little puppy called Vausa, he came into our lives, one of my children was very, very depressed because of the divorce, what we were going through. She was suffering a very deep depression. And I had a miracle. My daughter, she called him a cockapoo, cocker spaniel, poodle mixture, and he had to be white. So she began putting this little basket, and we would go to the store. "Mama, can you buy me this food for the dog?" So in her mind, she was already creating this puppy. And at work, when I was at the health department. I had appointments from 7:30, um, all morning, people coming in, and I had appointments every half hour to an hour depending. And this one particular Monday, I had all the people had canceled in the morning, and my boss, my very dear, dear, dear friend, the one that passed away, the nurse. I'll tell you her name. Her name was Debbie. She told me, "You know what, Vivi? Let's go to the pound. I'm going to take you there. They have animals that nobody wants, and sometimes they're so sad." And she said, "I'm not buying a new dog. I'm going to go get those that nobody wants." We went there. She took me, and I'm telling you, I walked in all of the different cages where the animals were at. Got to the end, And there was this puppy. He was covered with mud, and like the mud was dry and hanging on him. He looked horrendous. He looked very like nobody cared for him. And so when all the other dogs were barking, there was a beautiful, I call it the Lassie dog. It was a beautiful one. They had all kinds of dogs, all kinds. But the last one, there was something with him. I stopped there and I walked, and he climbed on my lap, and I said, "It's you. It's you, Vause." I call him Vause. Vause in Danish means little puppy. So I named him. You are our new little Vause. And so this little friend, we adopted him. I adopted him, and my daughter, I took her the following day. She didn't know it was a surprise, but I will tell you the miracle. We got there, and she said, "What are we doing here?" "Oh, you'll see." And Debbie was with me, and we walk in there, and the lady had him ready. They bathed him. Oh, he looked like a snowball. He was beautiful, just beyond beautiful. And he didn't look at me. He looked at my daughter, and he ran to her. And my daughter, of course, cried, and she had the basket and everything. That dog, when we got home, she needed to go to the restroom. He sat outside the door waiting for her. He waited for her. He was her puppy. And I remember one day when I had to put him to sleep after many years we had him. And I don't want to talk about the reasons, but anyway, I had to put him to sleep. My daughter didn't cry because she had the understanding that he was with her, and he was. And at times I could hear her laughing. Go, "Stop licking me, stop it." And then one day when we lived in Vegas, the two of us, I was so jealous. I said, "I wish that Vausa would jump into my dream." The following night, guess what happened? I had this dream that I was in an apartment complex. And I was by the balcony, and all of a sudden I see Vausa, and he throws himself from uh, the top down, and I did like this. He landed in my arms, and he licked my face, and he jumped on my bed, and this is in my dream. So when I woke up, I told my daughter, "Oh, he jumped from his dream from your dream to my dream." And he's always had a special warm place in my heart, and we all had a beautiful relationship with him. He was a very special soul. This little puppy, oh, I don't want to, I I don't want to have pets right now. I can't, the responsibility, I can't have puppies right now or anything because, of my job, what I have to do, and I'm very busy. So one day when I'm no longer in here, I plan in the future, I would love to have again a puppy or maybe a cat. I didn't think I liked cats, but I actually do like them a lot. My daughter, we got one. We call him Bodhi, but we don't call him Bodhi anymore. We call him Bubba's. He is the cutest, the most cutest, most beautiful cat, and I got him for Christmas. One of those high places where they like to. What my daughter calls it. Let me think. You know, when people live in high apartment, very fancy. His little house is. It looks like a fancy home just for him, and he loves to go way to the top. He just lays there. He's just beautiful. He's a very unusual cat. He's a Savannah cat. He has and he's kind of wild, but he's accommodated himself to our family. And then we have another little cat. I mean, excuse me, a little puppy. We call him Osito. Osito means little bear. My dad, we called him Osito, and my mom called him Osito. So we call him Osito also. So in the future, I think I want to have a little Osito also because I like that name. Anyway, I just wanted to go back and let you know of that experience that I had, and to tell you how important it is for you to find the joy in your life. Don't waste days. Don't waste your time because you cannot get the days back. Live the moment and don't live in regrets of, wow, what if I could have done that? Oh, if I should have done that. No, forgive yourself for stuff. And we all make mistakes. No one here is perfect. No one. And I think the most beautiful experience in life is the self, and the things that you adhere to yourself. Can be family. You want to be in a partnership. You want to have a family. But be whole before you do anything. Be whole yourself. Because when you're all broken down and you have all the problems and you carry suitcases and suitcases of things that were detrimental to your heart and to your soul, and you have issues, and so cleanse your mind so that you can create a new garden with new possibilities. Life offers us so much. It's such a beautiful gift, and I I want I want so much for people to be happy. I want so much for mothers to not have to work 3, 4 jobs to support themselves and their kids. And there's just there has to be change, but we can only ourselves do that. People can't change for you. Um, See the best in you. Hug yourself. Hug yourself. I often do that. I hug myself. If there's no one there to hug me, I hug myself. Um, be kind to yourself. Eat nourishing food. Exercise. Go for walks. Or do whatever that makes you feel happy. I love swimming. I don't have the time to do it because of, like I said, my job is very it's 24/7, and I have very few days off a month due to it's really hard to find people that can do what I'm doing right now. And I'm very well paid. I have no problems with that, but it's it entails a lot. It takes a lot out of you, and at times it's been a little bit challenging for me because I miss going swimming. I miss going for walks, like long walks, and you get out of shape, and then you get the extra pounds, and but I'm in a transition, so I'm looking forward now to the summer, the spring, and things changing, and I have plans for my life, and um, I know that God, because I work with Him, and if people ask me, who do you work for? Well, I have this job, and the company has a name, but this is not my real work. My real work is with the man upstairs, and yeah, who's gonna fire me, right? Yeah. Um, oh, there's just so much that I want to express to you. Um, when you are in this, if you are seeking something, if you're seeking that direction, um, be confident and know that you will have one. You will have an answer. You will have direction when you put yourself out there. There are beings of light all around you. No one's here by themselves. No one. Mm-mm. We are surrounded by angels. We're surrounded by our ancestors. God has many, 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 uh, I don't want to call them servants, but aides in the spiritual kingdom and in this physical world. You have no idea that you may have entertained many a time, angels. Um, I will one day tell you the story of the person that God sent to my life. This person never told me what to believe. This person offered me a menu, just like what I've been telling you. And what this did, all it did, it was directed me, to myself. And so this is why I know that we are shaped and fashioned by what we love, what we focus on. And because I have been loving myself all of these years, I have gotten a different understanding of who I am. I'm a daughter of the cosmos. I'm a daughter of this creator, this magnificent creator of the universes. Um, and acquiring, I'm getting back what I used to be. I believe in other lives. I've lived other lives. And I don't want to talk about that, what lives I've lived. That doesn't matter. Whether you were a dishwasher, whether you are a king, or whether you are a carpet builder or whatever, it doesn't matter. What matters is this moment, what you're doing, what I'm doing with my life at this moment. That I'm making a difference for myself and others. Okay, I don't want to take more of your time, and I wish you a beautiful week, and I will have more things for you next week. And um, I just want to tell you, please don't forget, you are all loved. No one's less than anyone. No one's better than the other one. It doesn't matter what degree you have. God is never going to ask you, which university did you go to? Well, this is the University Planet Earth, the School of Planet Earth. We're all going here, and we will all graduate eventually. Trust in yourselves. Love yourselves like you've never loved yourselves before. And seek that which is truth, which is beautiful, which is noble, that which brings joy to your heart and to others. Forgive yourself for everything. Forgive others. Let go of all everything, and create a renewal of your mind, because you can do it. I'm doing it, and I'm not different than you guys. I may be talking to God, but He can talk to you too. I'm sure He talks to all of you. It just depends on who's listening, because God's language it's not a specific language. God speaks all languages. It doesn't matter whether you're African, Chinese, South American. He doesn't look at what passport do you have, what country do you come from. Let's see, because you're here, you're only allowed these things. He's an unconditional God, and He created us to be here and to learn about Him and create a relationship with Him and create a better world for ourselves and for others. Okay, so I will let you go and wish you the best week that you can have. Take care of yourselves. Love you, my beautiful soul family.